In the glittering world of the city's elite, the marriage between Ethan Blackwood, the heir to the formidable Blackwood Corporation, and a girl from an ordinary background like me, Sarah Chin, was the biggest joke of the year. People said I was climbing the social ladder. They claimed I used underhanded tactics. But the truth was, tucked away in plain sight in my bedside drawer, lay a stark, black and white marriage contract. It stipulated a one-year term. My role was to play the part of Mrs. Blackwood well, and under no circumstances was I to interfere with the heir's private life. At the end of the year, we'd go our separate ways, and I would receive a hefty severance package of $10 million as youth compensation. $10 million. With that kind of money, I could move to a quiet, scenic region, buy a charming little cottage with gray tiles and white walls, and spend my days lounging around, nibbling on sunflower seeds. I could officially enter an era of lying flat, completely detached from worldly affairs, without effort, just breathing and sleeping. For that grand goal, my guiding principle in the Blackwood mansion was crystal clear. If I could sit, I wouldn't stand. If money could solve it, I wouldn't use my own effort. Engaging in high society power struggles? Too much work. Intricate scheming? Causes premature hair loss and ruins your complexion. Yet, I wanted to be invisible, but others just loved dragging me into the spotlight. On the third day after I moved into the Blackwood mansion, my bedroom doorbell started ringing incessantly at 6:30 a.m. Downstairs, Eleanor Vance, the current Mrs. Blackwood, and Ethan's stepmother, was waiting for me. She wore a silk cheongsam embroidered with peonies, her hair perfectly coiffed, not a single strand out of place, her makeup meticulously applied, down to each individual lash. Looking at her, then down at my own wrinkled silk pajamas, I let out a huge yawn. "Sarah," Eleanor said, taking a sip of her Thai guanine tea, her voice smooth as silk, yet laced with hidden daggers. "You married into the Blackwood family. Since your background isn't up to par, your adherence to tradition must compensate. Ethan's stomach isn't very strong. Tomorrow morning, you must wake up at 4 a.m., go down to the kitchen yourself, and personally prepare a pot of abalone and black chicken congee for your husband. Remember, you must personally clean, tend the fire, and not rely on any of the staff. Only then will you truly demonstrate the virtues of a devoted wife." 4 a.m. Tending the fire myself. My brain immediately switched into calculation mode. Waking up at 4 a.m. meant losing 3 hours of deep sleep. Lack of sleep leads to dull skin, requiring at least $500 worth of restorative creams. Standing by the stove, tending the fire for 2 hours, would burn 300 calories. Oil fumes clinging to my hair would necessitate an additional $200 for revitalizing hair oil. Not to mention, my cooking skills barely extended beyond boiling an egg until it was thoroughly done. If I cooked a burnt, foul-smelling pot of congee, Ethan Blackwood, a man with severe OCD and incredibly picky eating habits, would undoubtedly lose his mind. Conclusion: personally cooking the congee was a losing investment from every angle. Eleanor Vance wanted to torture me. She wanted to exhaust me physically, and also use Ethan's sensitive stomach to paint me as the villain. "Yes, Mother," I blinked, flashing an exceptionally obedient smile. "You are absolutely right. Ethan will certainly have a perfect breakfast." My stepmother let out a cold snort and departed. She was convinced that tomorrow morning, she'd be treated to a delightful spectacle, a disheveled daughter-in-law and an enraged CEO husband. Unfortunately for her, she severely underestimated my laziness. Back in my room, I climbed straight into my luxurious king-sized bed, pulled the blanket up to my chest, and fumbled for my phone. I pulled out the unlimited credit card Ethan Blackwood had given me the other day and dialed a number. "Hello, is this Chef Tanaka, from the 3 Michelin star restaurant, the Golden Phoenix? This is Sarah Chen. Yes, tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., could you please bring your sous chefs to Villa Number 1 at Peninsula Bay? I'd like abalone and black chicken congee, lightly seasoned, and please add shrimp dumplings and shark fin siumai on the side. Just charge the home service fee directly to my black card. Thank you." I hung up. Total problem-solving time, 2 minutes. Calories expended, 5. I tossed my phone aside, snuggled deeper under the covers, and drifted off to sleep, not waking until 7 a.m. the next morning. At 7:15 a.m., the dining room of the Blackwood mansion was filled with the delicate aroma of heirloom rice and premium seafood. Eleanor Vance sat at the head of the table, looking at the steaming pot of congee, then at the stacked bamboo steamers holding exquisite dim sum, each dish a work of art. A muscle twitched at the corner of her mouth. I sauntered down the stairs. Instead of wearing silk dresses, I was dressed in a brown fuzzy bear-shaped fleece onesie, complete with matching bear paw slippers, and my hair tied in a loose, messy bun. It's my home, it's breakfast. Why bother changing? Sarah. Eleanor Vance slammed her hand on the table, her voice sharp with fury. "Did you cook any of this? And what are you wearing? Where is your dignity?" I pulled out a chair and slumped into it, resting my chin on my hand. "Mother, you know I can't cook. I hired Chef Tanaka to prepare these dishes. Premium black-edged abalone and black Yunnan mountain chicken," she snarled. "And how dare you hire an outside chef?" My stepmother's eyes narrowed, her perfectly manicured, ruby-red finger trembling as she pointed at me. "I told you to cook it yourself to show your devotion. You extravagant, lazy girl." "Mother, the modern mindset is about using money to create time," I said, pouring myself a warm glass of milk, calmly countering. "Ethan's stomach is extremely valuable. He closes deals worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in a single minute. If I cooked and accidentally swapped salt for sugar, causing him to get sick and end up in the hospital, who would compensate the Blackwood Corporation when its stock plummets? I'm using money to buy security for my husband and create income for others. Do you truly want Ethan to eat burnt congee just to call that filial piety?" Eleanor Vance was speechless, her mouth opening and closing soundlessly. My words were utterly preposterous, yet so logically sound they left her no room for argument. Just then, the steady thud of footsteps echoed. Ethan Blackwood descended the stairs, dressed in a custom-tailored, obsidian black suit. His sharply defined features were devoid of any expression. His deep-set eyes held the weariness of chronic insomnia. Trailing directly behind him was Leo Stone, heir to the Stone family, the city's #1 gossip antenna, who had crashed at the mansion the previous night. "Oh my God, that smells incredible." Leo Stone inhaled deeply, his eyes gleaming as he practically lunged for the dining table. He served himself a bowl of congee, took a spoonful, then gave a resounding thumbs up. "Amazing. The rice is perfectly soft, and the broth is so delicately sweet. Sister-in-law, your family's chef has really outdone themselves." Ethan paused, his indifferent gaze sweeping over his stepmother's indignant, choked-up face, then settling on my ridiculous bear-shaped pajamas. He subtly frowned, then pulled out the chair next to mine and sat down. He scooped a spoonful of congee to his lips and tasted it. His stomach, perpetually aching from stress, was instantly soothed by the warm, comforting congee. The tight, oppressive feeling within him diminished considerably. The corner of the heir's eyebrow subtly relaxed. I knew the timing was perfect. I reached into the front pocket of my bear onesie, pulled out a tiny receipt, and gently slid it across the table to Eleanor Vance. "Mother," I said, blinking innocently. "This is Chef Tanaka's bill. Ingredients and home service fee, totaling $3,000. Yesterday, you said you were so concerned about Ethan's stomach and wanted to take care of him. Since you initiated this gesture of filial piety, would you mind covering this $3,000 bill?" Leo Stone, who was mid-bite into a siumai, nearly spluttered it across the table. He coughed violently, pounding his chest, and stared at me as if I were some kind of divine being descended from heaven. A daughter-in-law daring to make her mother-in-law pay for breakfast. Eleanor Vance's face cycled from red to purple, and she snarled, "Sarah, don't be ridiculous. You were too lazy to cook and called in an outsider, and now you have the gall to demand money from me?" "But the idea was yours, Mother," I said, putting on my most innocent face. Ethan Blackwood set his porcelain spoon down with a soft, distinct clink. He dabbed his mouth with a napkin, then turned to his stepmother, his voice cold and devoid of emotion. "Mother, Sarah is right. My health is more important than these restrictive, superficial rules. You were concerned for my well-being and wanted me to eat well, so please, transfer this $3,000 bill to her." Eleanor Vance was utterly cornered, her expression a kaleidoscope of emotions. She stiffly rose to her feet, gritting her teeth as she spat out each word, "Fine. I'll pay." Then she spun on her heel and stomped out of the dining room. I happily eyed the receipt, mentally calculating that a delicious breakfast combined with a successful trap made for a truly perfect morning. "Excellent risk management," Ethan Blackwood remarked unexpectedly. He turned to look at me, a flicker of something deep and knowing in his dark eyes. Knowing how to leverage resources to maximize profit without shedding a single drop of sweat. "Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Blackwood," I replied. I raised a hand in a mock military salute, then helped myself to another shrimp dumpling. Ethan watched the fuzzy bare ears on my hood wobble, and a minuscule curve played at the corner of his lips. This woman, beneath her lazy, useless facade, had a mind that worked faster than any of his business partners. No drama, no tears, she'd simply used money and a dash of logic to defeat his troublesome stepmother. Beside her, all the pretentious rules of high society seemed to lose their meaning. But Eleanor Vance was not one to give up so easily. Just 3 days after the congee incident, she launched her second attack, the suffering ploy. That afternoon, Mr. Henderson, the butler, rushed to my door, knocking frantically. Mrs. Chen. Mrs. Vance has suddenly been struck by a terrible headache and dizziness. She's unable to get out of bed. The doctor says she needs a family member to stay by her side, tending to her around the clock. And Mrs. Vance specifically requested you to be there, serving her medicine 24/7. I set down the half-eaten bag of chips. Feigning illness? This trick was as old as time itself. She wanted to trap me in a gloomy sick room, forcing me to massage her feet and fetch her drinks day and night. If I dared to leave and get some sleep, she'd spread rumors throughout the city's elite circles that the Blackwood daughter-in-law was unfilial, cold-hearted, and cruel. All right, Mr. Henderson, please inform her that I will fulfill my filial duties. I stretched, standing up. Massaging and serving? Way too much effort. I immediately pulled out my black card and made a call. Half an hour later, I stood at the door to Eleanor Vance's room. Behind me, 2 burly security guards were grunting as they carried in a huge, plush reclining armchair. Beside me walked a woman in her 50s, built like a fortress, with bulging biceps and eyes as sharp as razors. This was Nurse Wang, a top-tier nurse from the Northeast, renowned throughout the city for her iron discipline and unmatched strength. The sick room door creaked open. Eleanor Vance lay moaning on the bed, and seeing me enter, she weakly whispered, "Sarah, darling, my head is throbbing so terribly. Come here and massage my feet." "Mother, just lie still and rest," I said, waving a hand. "With you so seriously ill, my clumsy hands could never provide the meticulous care you need. I've hired Nurse Wang, the city's top S-level health recovery specialist, to come here. From now on, Mother, you can leave everything to her." With that, I plopped myself down into the plush armchair that had just been positioned in the corner of the room. I pulled out a black eye mask, slipped it on, inserted 2 noise-canceling earplugs, and snuggled deep under a fluffy blanket. "Don't worry, Mother, I'm still here 24/7. I'm just going to get some sleep now. Get well soon." Eleanor Vance's eyes bulged. She opened her mouth to yell, but Nurse Wang, with her imposing strides, was already by the bedside. "Mrs. Blackwood, it's time for your medicine." Nurse Wang's voice boomed like a bronze bell, hitting Eleanor's eardrums with a shockwave. Eleanor flinched. I won't drink it. It's so bitter. Medicine is always so awful." Without a word, Nurse Wang gripped Eleanor's jaw with one hand and, with the other, tipped the entire bowl of foul-smelling medicine straight into her mouth. Eleanor choked and thrashed like a beached fish, but she couldn't escape the vice-like grip of the formidable nurse from the Northeast. Next up was Open Book, Dang Dyke Fan 2/4, 2502. The unclogging of her meridians. Nurse Peterson rolled up her sleeves. The doctor said the madam was lying down too much, ma'am, and could develop blood clots. We need to pat her back. Asterisk thwack. Thwack. Thwack, asterisk. The sounds of the back patting echoed through the room like a barrage of firecrackers. Eleanor cried out in pain, tears streaming down her face, screaming, "Let me go. I'm not sick anymore. Get her out of here." "You're delirious, ma'am," Nurse Peterson said, her face hardening as she delivered 3 more resounding thwacks. The young mistress paid for a full half-month package, and she specifically instructed me to perform my duties diligently. I cannot go against my professional ethics. Eleanor wailed and screamed for help, but across the room, I was already drifting into a peaceful sleep, thanks to my high-quality, noise-canceling earplugs. Every hour on it, Nurse Peterson would rouse my stepmother, forcing hot ginger water down her throat. Every 2 hours, she'd drag her out to manipulate her joints and ligaments. A mere day and a half later, the sick room door burst open. Eleanor, hair disheveled, face gaunt and hollow, bolted from the room as if pursued by a demon, yelling, "I'm cured. I'm completely well. Stop hitting me." She locked herself securely in another bedroom, double-locking the door, vowing never again to utter the name Shenlu as long as she lived. That evening, Ethan returned from a business dinner. As he walked down the hallway, he saw Nurse Peterson packing up her things, preparing to leave. He glanced into the room. His stepmother had vanished completely, leaving only his contract wife curled up on the chaise lounge, breathing softly, a faint smile playing on her lips. He leaned against the doorframe, observing the surreal scene before him. In this house, so rife with schemes and deceit, her very laziness had become the most effective weapon for clearing out the trash, requiring no arguments, no pretense. A cold breeze drifted in from the window. Ethan took long, slow strides, approaching her. He removed his tie, picked up the thin duvet that had slipped to the floor, and gently draped it over Shenlu's slender shoulders. He leaned down, his deep, husky voice barely a whisper in the wind. Sleep well, Mrs. Fu. A strange seed began to sprout in the heart of the cold-blooded heir. He suddenly felt that keeping this woman in the Fu family might just be the wisest decision he had ever made. After the incident where the Northeast nurse cleared her meridians with back thumps until she was utterly traumatized, my stepmother Eleanor sank into a deep depression. She'd go out of her way to avoid me, issuing strict orders to all the servants. No one was allowed on the second floor to make noise or wake me up early. My life in the Fu household officially entered its golden age. I'd sleep in until 11 a.m., snack until 3 p.m., and occasionally swipe my black card for some stress relief shopping. But high society was never short on idle provocateurs. With my stepmother temporarily out of the picture, Lily, the green tea, immediately took center stage. That Friday afternoon, I was wrapped in a blanket, browsing cartoons. In the side parlor, Lily appeared. She wore a pristine white dress, her braided hair draped over one shoulder, carrying a delicate pale pink bento box as she glided in. Seeing me, she deliberately paused, letting out a drawn-out sigh, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness. Lulu, Ethan has been so busy with new project meetings lately. I heard he hasn't eaten anything since early this morning. His stomach must be hurting again. I woke up at 5 a.m. myself to stew some pork rib soup and make sushi rolls to take to his office. As a wife, don't you feel any shame seeing your husband work so hard while you just lie around watching TV? With that, she sashayed away, her back exuding the smug pride of a virtuous wife and loving mother on a mission to save the world. I squinted, popping the last potato chip into my mouth, then scratched my head. Shame? Sorry, that word isn't in my dictionary. Just then, my phone rang. It was Grandpa Fu. The old man roared through the phone, Lulu, I heard from the staff that Lily took lunch to Ethan at the office. You're his legal wife, how can you let her get away with this? Get over to his company and visit your husband. Let those nosy employees see how attentive Mrs. Fu truly is. If you don't go, I'm cutting off your game money next month. I let out a long sigh. Getting myself out the door to go to the company was already too much effort, but now I had to cook too? Cooking a meal would mean 2 hours standing in a greasy kitchen, and another 30 minutes for dishes, a massive waste of precious energy. But a command from my golden sponsor couldn't be ignored. My lazy brain immediately sprang into action. I pulled out my powerful black card and called the manager of the 5-star Imperial View restaurant directly. This is Mrs. Fu. Prepare a premium seafood buffet set, grilled wagyu steak, abalone sashimi, and an English afternoon tea for 20 people. Express delivery, straight to the top floor of the Fu Corporation. Charge it to my card. An hour later, on the 88th floor of the Fu Corporation, the atmosphere was as somber as a funeral. A 6-hour strategic meeting had just concluded. Ethan rubbed his temples, unbuttoned the top 2 buttons of his shirt, his stomach twisting with hunger pangs. Hua Ting and the other directors were slumped over their desks, barely breathing from sheer exhaustion. Ding, the VIP elevator doors opened. It wasn't an assistant, but a team of chefs in crisp white uniforms, pushing 4 gleaming stainless steel carts. The moment the lids were lifted, the aroma of garlic butter grilled lobster, sizzling wagyu beef, and fragrant tea instantly assaulted the starved senses of the dying capitalists. I stepped out, wearing a baggy gray tracksuit, hands shoved into my pockets, stifling a yawn. Hua Ting shot up like a spring, eyes bloodshot, and lunged straight for a plate of wagyu. He chewed ravenously, tears streaming down his face. Sister, you're a goddess descended from heaven. From this day forward, my life, Hua Ting's life, belongs to you. The other directors also abandoned all pretense, devouring the food like a ravenous storm, their mouths full of endless praise for Mrs. Fu's thoughtfulness and heartwarming generosity. Amidst the lavish feasting, the other elevator doors opened. Lily, carrying her tiny bento box, her face beaming, was about to call out Brother Ethan, but her smile instantly froze. She looked at the cold sushi rolls in her hand, then at the piles of golden brown lobster, seared beef, and the long lines of pastries being utterly demolished. The stark, devastating contrast made her look nothing short of a maid secretly bringing leftovers, completely overlooked, with not a single person bothering to glance her way. I lazily waved at Ethan, then pointed to the door of his private lounge. Lunch delivery complete. The car ride was exhausting, so I'm borrowing your room for a quick nap. No noise allowed. Then I walked straight in, kicked off my shoes, and crashed. Ethan didn't even bother to spare Lily a glance. He coldly instructed Assistant Lin to see the guests out, then personally carried a plate of food into the lounge. Click, the door locked from the inside. He sat on the wool rug by the sofa, quietly eating, occasionally looking up to admire my sleeping face. This contract wife of his always complained about things being troublesome, calculating every penny, yet every time she showed up, she managed to extinguish all his stress in the most extravagant and amusing way. He gently reached out to brush a strand of hair from my cheek, a doting smile curving his lips. Defeated in this round, Eleanor and Lily, seething with resentment, concocted another scheme. The following week, Eleanor used the excuse of wanting to cultivate my elite family temperament to force me to attend a secret antique auction hosted by high society. Her objective was obvious: for me to pick the wrong item and become the laughingstock of the sophisticated ladies. The auction hall was lavishly opulent, with people vying to raise their paddles, shouting bids of millions of yuan for porcelain vases. As for me, I chose the most comfortable VIP seat in the front row, crossed my arms, put on my sunglasses, and promptly dozed off. Near the end of the event, Eleanor sharply jabbed her elbow into my side, a mocking smile on her face. "Xinlu, it's your turn. Grandpa is celebrating his birthday soon, and as his daughter-in-law, you should pick a proper birthday gift for him. Go choose some raw jade." Woken up, I irritably removed my sunglasses. On the podium were dozens of drab, gray raw stones. The ladies whispered and pointed. "Let's see which worthless rock she picks so we can all have a good laugh." I stumbled onto the stage, my lazy brain finally stirring. Buy a vase? What if I break it? That's money down the drain. Buy jade? Too much effort to tell them apart. My eyes landed on a dark, chunky rock, discarded in the bottom corner, tagged with the cheapest price, 5,000 yuan. In my head, a calculation automatically formed. Lately, the leg of my bed had been uneven. Every night, when I turned over, it creaked, costing me 10 minutes of sleep. 10 minutes multiplied by 365 days, that was an astronomical loss of sleep. This rock was sturdy and cheap. Buying it to prop up my bed leg made the most sense. "I'll take this one," I declared, pointing directly at the black rock. The entire hall erupted in laughter. Eleanor covered her mouth, snickering. "Xinlu, are you picking a piece of junk? That cracked rock, what are you going to do with it?" I shrugged, answering nonchalantly, "Just buying it to prop up my bed leg, so it doesn't wobble." Just as the crowd was about to openly mock my country bumpkin ways, a cold, authoritative voice boomed from the main entrance. "What's all this commotion?" Ethan had just finished work and stopped by to pick me up. Seeing me holding the crude rock, he strode forward. His slender fingers grazed the rough surface, then paused at a tiny crack near the bottom. Under the lights, a clear, emerald green glow reflected out. Ethan's pupils contracted. He lifted the stone, his gaze, sharp as a blade, sweeping over Eleanor and the now petrified crowd. Mother's judgment of people might not be the best, but Mrs. Fu's eye for treasure? No one in this entire high society can compare. This is a 1,000-year-old ice species jadeite rough, a one-of-a-kind. When cut, it's worth at least 20 million yuan. The entire hall held its breath. 20 million yuan. Ethan tossed the stone to his assistant, instructing him to have it carved into a Buddha statue, then wrapped his arms tightly around my waist, stroking my head. "You're brilliant, my dear." I stood dumbfounded in his embrace, screaming internally. "Brilliant, my foot. So what if it's 20 million yuan? You took my rock to carve a statue. Who's going to prop up my bed tonight?" With the capitalist, meaning me, as I outsmarted her financially and socially, continuously humiliating her, Eleanor, furious, unleashed her ultimate domestic weapon to salvage her reputation. In the name of Grandpa Fu, she assigned me a life-or-death mission, to host an afternoon tea party in the Fu family garden for the wives of the Fu Corporation's most important strategic partners. Her intention was utterly malicious. Xinlu, with her humble background, surely wouldn't know how to interact with high society. Forcing her to host would mean she'd stumble, say the wrong things, and offend the VIPs. Tomorrow's billion-dollar contract negotiations for Ethan would be jeopardized, and she would become a sinner for all time. Of course, Lily was also invited, ready to applaud the spectacle. Upon hearing the news from Butler Chin, I, who was lying on the sofa nibbling on seaweed snacks, immediately felt utterly exhausted. Hosting a party meant wearing a waist-cinching evening gown, standing for 3 hours, forcing a smile that showed all 8 teeth, and racking my brain for topics like perfume and handbags for small talk. 1 minute of social diplomacy drained as much energy as 10 minutes of jogging, and it caused wrinkles, absolutely not happening. I waved my hand. "Uncle Chen, take Ethan's black card. Hire the most exclusive team of spa and meditation experts in the capital to come here for me. No dessert tables in the garden, Butler Chen. Clear out all the tables and chairs. Bring in all the massage chairs and waterbeds for me." The following afternoon, the aristocratic ladies, resplendent and carrying their designer bags, swept into the Fu garden, ready to scrutinize the country bumpkin daughter-in-law. Eleanor and Lily stood by, smirking, eager for the show to begin. But as they stepped through the gate, a team of professionals in immaculate white uniforms blocked their path. Welcome, esteemed ladies, to the Zen Healing Tea Party. I, dressed in a thin, light silk outfit. Open book, Dang Dyke Fan 3/4, 2502. The meditation expert, holding a small brass bell, spoke languidly. Today's rule is absolute silence, to cleanse the soul. No phones, no talking. The confused socialites had their handbags confiscated. Their painful high heels were removed, replaced by loose silk robes. They were then made to lie on soft massage chairs under cool green trees. A refreshing herbal mask and 2 slices of cucumber were placed over each woman's eyes. Lindsay Evans seethed, furious that her brand new diamond earrings, bought specifically for showing off, had been taken. She was about to sneer. Ms. Willow, what in the world are you doing? Bang, a meditation expert, holding a mallet, struck a brass bell right next to her ear. The reverberating sound echoed, long and unsettling. Madam, your mind is too restless. Please maintain silence to avoid disrupting the energy field, the expert admonished, lighting a stick of frankincense and wafting it directly under Lindsay's nose. Denise Young, also fuming and about to curse, was immediately met with another bang that made her ears ring. The 2 antagonists trembled with rage but had no choice but to close their mouths and eyes, lying still, not daring to utter another word. As for me, I had every right to stretch out on the coziest chair, right in the center. I enjoyed my face mask and snored peacefully for a full 3 hours. The garden was utterly silent, save for the gentle gurgle of water, soothing meditation music, and the distant, almost imperceptible hum of a lawnmower. Surprisingly, 3 hours later, when the awakening bell rang, the effect on the city's elite was nothing short of revolutionary. These socialites typically spent their days squeezed into designer clothes, staying up late to scheme and fight, exhausted by endless fake social engagements. But now, after being forced into a deep, relaxing sleep in absolute tranquility, they woke up feeling refreshed, light, and reborn. Mrs. Pierce, you are truly brilliant, one exclaimed. This kind of tea gathering is exactly what we've been craving. So therapeutic, truly healing. I absolutely have to learn from you and host a similar event next week. The other women clasped my hands, thanking me profusely and praising my idea to high heaven. Denise Young and Lindsay Evans stood in a corner, faces ashen as ash, biting their lips, utterly bewildered as to why my lazy nap had managed to win everyone over. The silent diplomatic afternoon resulted in the socialites returning home in excellent spirits. Their husbands, my husband's business partners, were pleased to hear their wives praising the Pierce family. The next morning, the negotiation for a $1 billion contract with the Pierce Group flowed so smoothly that Ethan didn't have to utter a single wasted word. That evening, Ethan Pierce came home from work. Hearing Butler Jenkins recount the events of the Gong and Bell party, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He walked into the bedroom, loosened his tie, and saw his contract wife sprawling on the bed, yawning, scrolling through her phone. He was smart enough to immediately understand that his notoriously lazy wife was just looking for a legitimate excuse to avoid conversation and go to sleep, with no profound diplomatic intentions whatsoever. Ethan sat down on the edge of the bed. His eyes, usually sharp and cold in the business world, were now filled with a mixture of helplessness and utter indulgence, almost doting. He reached out and gently pinched my cheek. Only you could pull off this kind of lazy diplomacy, I swear, nowhere else in the city's elite. His voice was low and warm, tinged with a lingering, affectionate chuckle. You helped me secure a $1 billion contract. Thank you, Mrs. Pierce. I rubbed my cheek and blinked. Any reward, Mr. Pierce? Shouldn't I get a cut of the commission? Ethan Pierce let out a full laugh. He didn't say anything, just leaned down and ruffled my hair, his gaze like someone looking at the most precious treasure in the world. The thorns in the sides of Denise Young and Lindsay Evans had been completely removed, right there in the Pierce household. Powerless to defeat me with their family infighting tactics, Lindsay Evans frantically launched her final, most despicable attack, using public opinion and the media to kick me out of the house. One crisp autumn morning, clear skies above, I was dressed in a full gray tracksuit and flip-flops, walking my Samoyed dumpling in Central Park near the Peninsula Bay Estates. As we rounded the bend toward the Fountain Square, Dumpling suddenly began to bark wildly. From within the bushes, dozens of dark figures emerged, armed with long-lens cameras and microphones bearing the logos of various entertainment news outlets. They swarmed me like a pack of hungry zombies, forming an airtight circle. Mrs. Pierce, please answer our questions. There are rumors that you've been rude and lazy at the Pierce estate, completely neglecting your duties as a wife, relying solely on favoritism and becoming arrogant. Is this true? Everyone in the social elite is saying that Ethan Pierce, the heir apparent, can't stand you anymore and is preparing divorce papers. How do you feel about this? Flashbulbs fired incessantly, blinding me. Microphones were shoved straight into my face, each reporter practically wishing they could jam it into my mouth to extract information. I stood perfectly still. My brain immediately switched to analyze situation and escape mode. There were at least 20 reporters, plus 30 cameras surrounding me. To break free, I'd have to exert myself as much as a 400-meter sprint. Too exhausting. The calorie expenditure wasn't worth it. And even if I did escape, tomorrow's papers would show photos of me running away frantically, looking utterly pathetic. So, I did something that made the entire pack of paparazzi freeze. I took 2 steps back with Dumpling, then plopped myself down on a stone bench right next to him. I calmly reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a bag of pecan-flavored sunflower seeds I'd just bought from the convenience store. I shelled one, popped it into my mouth, and crack, the sound was crisp. "Everyone, calm down," I mumbled, chewing. "Why are you all pushing and shoving, making yourselves sweat?" I yawned, then gestured with my chin towards the nearest microphone. "Now, you, the reporter with glasses, what did you just ask?" "Oh, right, about me being a lazy slacker who neglects her wifely duties?" The reporters stared blankly, then nodded. They had ambushed countless celebrities and prominent figures before, some covering their faces and crying, others calling bodyguards to rough up the press. This was the first time they'd encountered a socialite being called out, who then calmly sat down, shelled sunflower seeds, and continued the conversation. "That article was spot on," I conceded, nodding. I flipped the shell into a small trash can beside the bench. I am absolutely a lazy slacker. I sleep until 10 a.m., I can't cook, I don't know how to clean, and I've never even washed my own clothes. The hardest thing I do at the Pierce estate is probably walking from my bedroom to the dining room. The entire square fell silent, only the rustling wind and the crack of my sunflower seeds audible. The reporters were utterly baffled. Asterisk, she admitted it? Just like that? This isn't how the script goes, asterisk, so you're not ashamed, a female reporter tried to provoke. You married into a powerful family, you leech off Mr. Pierce, and you contribute nothing. Aren't you afraid of getting divorced? At the mention of divorce, my sleepy eyes suddenly lit up like car headlights. I tossed the bag of sunflower seeds aside and leaned forward into the camera lens, my voice filled with genuine excitement. Afraid? Of course, I'm afraid. I'm afraid he won't agree to a divorce. I insisted. Seriously, reporters, write a scathing article. Roast me. Get it trending on social media, buy some bots to push it to the top. Use public pressure to force Ethan Pierce to sign those divorce papers and kick me out of his house. As soon as he signs, I swear, I'll give 10% of my divorce settlement for my wasted youth, divided equally among all your publications here. The reporters' jaws dropped, their microphones trembling in their hands. Were they on some kind of hidden camera prank show? Mrs. Pierce of the powerful Pierce family was begging the media to slander her so she could get a divorce? At that very moment, on social media, the live stream video of me munching sunflower seeds and begging for a divorce was rocketing to the #1 trending spot. Netizens were going wild with comments, some cursing, others doubled over with laughter at my brazen cluelessness. And, of course, the people in the conference room at the Pierce Group headquarters saw it too. Hayden secretly slid his iPad under the table, then couldn't help but let out a loud snort of laughter in the middle of a tense shareholder meeting. He pushed the iPad over to Ethan Pierce. Ethan glanced at the screen, saw my gleeful face demanding a share of the divorce settlement, and a vein twitched on the heir apparent's forehead. The fountain pen in his hand was squeezed so hard it cracked. He closed the file. The meeting is adjourned. Assistant Miller, prepare the car. Mr. Pierce, but the Southern Investment Project, I'm going to pick up my wife. Anyone with objections can sign off on their own decisions. Ethan Pierce rose abruptly, striding out of the conference room with a deadly aura. He grabbed his tailored jacket and headed back to Central Park. The reporters, having recovered from their shock, began to press me again with their microphones, determined to dig up more hidden scandals of the elite. Suddenly, a screech of tires pierced the air. A jet black Maybach, bearing a super VIP license plate from the city's elite, swerved onto the curb and parked precisely behind the throng of reporters. The car door swung open, and Ethan Pierce stepped out. He wore a white shirt, 2 buttons casually undone at the collar. His tall, imposing figure exuded the cold, oppressive presence of someone at the very top of the food chain. The reporters recognized the heir apparent and instantly scattered to either side, parting like the Red Sea. Not a single person dared to utter a sound. Ethan walked straight up to me, his dark, profound gaze sweeping over the lenses of the dozens of cameras pointed at him. I sat on the stone bench, blinking at him. Mr. Pierce, you're here to deliver the divorce papers, right? Give me the pen, I'll sign them right here, right now, while it's hot. Ethan Pierce didn't answer. He simply sat down calmly on the empty part of the stone bench beside me. Contrary to everyone's expectations of a fiery argument, the arrogant CEO serenely reached for the bag of sunflower seeds I had set aside. Before millions of live stream viewers, Ethan Pierce's long, slender fingers, with their prominent knuckles, fingers usually accustomed to signing $100 million contracts, expertly shelled a sunflower seed. He then brought the shelled kernel directly to my mouth. Open, he commanded, his voice not loud, but carrying an unervingly doting undertone. Reflexively, I opened my mouth and bit the seed. Asterisk delicious. He's quite good at shelling. Asterisk Ethan pulled a silk tissue from his vest pocket and gently wiped a stray crumb of sunflower seed from the corner of my lips. Only then did he lift his hawk-like eyes, staring directly at the reporters, who stood frozen like wooden statues. I don't know who had nothing better to do than spread these trashy rumors. Ethan Pierce's voice rang out, cold and authoritative, carried by the microphones to every corner of social media. But I think it's necessary to clarify one thing. He put an arm around my shoulder, pulling me to lean against his solid chest. The Pierce Group pays billions in taxes every year. We have countless servants and staff. I married my wife to love her, to keep her in a glass cage and pamper her, not to hire a housekeeper to sweep the floors and cook. He glanced at the female reporter who had dared to ask such an impertinent question, a cold smirk playing on his lips. So what if my wife is lazy? I have enough money for her to be lazy for 10 lifetimes and still not spend it all. I enjoy spoiling her rotten. Do any of you have a problem with that? The entire square fell silent. The sound of the wind blowing through was audible. The paparazzi were force-fed a huge dose of public affection, choking on it, unable to utter a single word. The heir apparent of the Pierce family, known for his cold-blooded reputation, was now openly defending his wife. Open book, Dang Dyke Fan 4/4, 2294-2. His wife, my lazy, good-for-nothing self, had made a spectacle in front of the whole world. What the hell was going on? In a luxurious penthouse somewhere in the bustling capital, Vanessa Lim gripped her iPad, watching the live stream. She was so enraged, she hurled the tablet against the wall, shattering it into pieces. Her scheme, using public opinion to force my divorce, had not only failed miserably but had also inadvertently created a stage for Liam Blackwood to assert his undeniable claim. Let's go home. Liam didn't spare a glance for the expressions of the bewildered crowd around us. He stood up, effortlessly scooping up the little one in one arm, his other hand firmly gripping mine. He pulled me towards the waiting Maybach. Only when the car door clicked shut, completely isolating us from the incessant, prying eyes outside, did I finally snap back to reality. I turned to look at Liam Blackwood, my usually sluggish, salted fish brain now whirring into overdrive. Mr. Blackwood, I began, your acting skills have truly improved by leaps and bounds. That whole domineering CEO protecting his delicate wife act just now surely appeased the patriarch and the shareholders, wiping out all the scandals. I held out my hand. But, you used me to quell public opinion, and in doing so, you also ruined my golden opportunity to force your divorce. I wiggled my fingers. And for that performance, adding emotional distress, that'll be 500,000 yuan. Bank transfer or cash? The Maybach began to glide forward. Liam Blackwood leaned back into the plush leather seat, taking off his sunglasses. His eyes fixed on me, no longer held the usual feigned indifference. In their depths, a deep, dangerous, yet surprisingly warm emotion swirled. Olivia, he said my name, his voice low and husky. Do you truly believe I was just acting back there? I froze, my hand still outstretched, demanding money, stiffening in midair. He leaned closer, the space between us narrowing. His breath, carrying a faint, subtle scent of cedar and mint, brushed against my face. He raised a hand and gently flicked my forehead. You fool, he murmured, chuckling softly. It was a smile that disarmed every one of my defenses. My affection, it's all yours to command. At the Blackwood mansion, feel free to be as lazy as you wish. Even if the sky falls, I'll hold it up with my bare hands so you can keep sleeping. After saying this, he settled back into his seat, closing his eyes to rest, leaving me utterly petrified in the passenger seat. Wait a minute. This script was all wrong. Had he been enchanted? How could this workaholic capitalist suddenly volunteer to be a bodyguard for a lazy freeloader like me? I stared at Liam Blackwood's perfect profile. My heartbeat, usually as calm and steady as a still pond, suddenly skipped a beat. The instinct of a seasoned salted fish screamed a warning, *danger. Extreme danger, *. My $50 million contract, it felt like it was about to go sideways. Ever since that public spectacle in front of the media, the atmosphere at the Blackwood family mansion had changed drastically. Mrs. Caldwell had completely vanished from my sight. Rumor had it the patriarch had banished her to a villa in the distant suburbs for quiet contemplation and self-reflection. And as for that conniving Vanessa Lim, who had shamelessly bought trending topics to slander the family heir, Liam had used his iron fist to crush her family's company into utter bankruptcy. I heard the Lim family had hastily sent her abroad to avoid the crushing fallout. No more schemers. No one forcing me to wake up early to cook. The Peninsula Bay Villa had truly become an absolute paradise for my cherished laziness. But time, as they say, flies like a dog chasing its tail. In the blink of an eye, the one-year marriage contract officially concluded. That morning, I woke up with an unprecedented sense of exhilaration. $50 million. Freedom in the Southlands. A life of pure, glorious relaxation. I pulled my tiny suitcase from under the bed. My luggage was incredibly simple: 2 bear-themed pajama sets, a comfy body pillow, my gaming console, and 3 bags of seaweed-flavored potato chips. Branded clothes, jewelry worth millions, I couldn't be bothered to bring them. Packing those things was too tiring, and carrying them would waste precious calories. I had already printed out the divorce agreement, meticulously drafted by my younger brother, Caleb, and placed it neatly on the living room coffee table. Then I sat cross-legged, jiggling my leg, eagerly waiting for the heir to return from work. At 6 p.m., the smooth hum of the Maybach's engine echoed from the driveway. The main door opened, and Liam Blackwood stepped in, his black suit jacket still draped over his arm. The moment he saw me sitting beside the small suitcase, his steps subtly faltered. His deep gaze swept from the suitcase to the paper on the table. His expression instantly darkened, and the temperature in the living room dropped as if a blizzard had just swept through. "Good evening, Mr. Blackwood," I chirped, standing up, beaming as brightly as an employee greeting their boss on payday. Time really flies, doesn't it? Our one-year contract officially expires today. Thank you for providing all my food and lodging during this time. I gestured to the paper. Here's the divorce petition, I've already signed it. Please sign your name, and while you're at it, transfer the $50 million settlement for my time fee to my card. Once the money is transferred, I'll grab my suitcase and vanish, returning your peace and quiet. Liam Blackwood said nothing. He slowly walked closer. The oppressive atmosphere made me instinctively swallow. He picked up the divorce agreement, his long, slender fingers tracing my neatly written signature in the bottom right corner. "You've really prepared thoroughly, haven't you?" Liam spoke, his voice low and hoarse, chilling me to the bone. "Luggage all packed, too. So eager to leave?" "Of course. My plan for a peaceful retirement in the Southlands is all set, and my plane tickets are booked," I replied cheerfully. Liam's lips curved into a slight, sinister, utterly dangerous smile that bloomed on the perfect face of the heir. He turned, leisurely carrying the divorce petition, and walked towards the corner of the room where an automatic paper shredder stood. Before I could even process what was happening, his hand loosened. ZZZT. The divorce agreement, containing my $50 million dream of a relaxed life, was shredded into hundreds of tiny scraps, fluttering into the wastebasket. My eyes widened, and my lazy brain temporarily went on strike. "Liam Blackwood, what the hell are you doing?" I wailed, my heart aching as I stared at the pile of shredded paper. "Breach of contract. You're a businessman, how dare you breach a contract?" Liam turned back, slowly untying his tie and tossing it aside, then took deliberate steps towards me. His domineering presence pressed down on me, making me instinctively retreat. I kept backing away until my back hit the armrest of the sofa, leaving me no escape. He placed both hands on the back of the sofa, trapping me between his broad chest and his masculine, cedar-scented breath. We were so close I could count his individual eyelashes. "Contract? What contract?" Liam lowered his head, whispering close to my ear, his deep voice carrying a deadly enchantment. Assistant Lee carelessly lost the original copy of that contract half a year ago. You scoundrel," I stammered, furious. The esteemed heir of the Blackwood Empire, stooping to such treachery. "Olivia, you're too lazy to think, aren't you? Allow me to calculate for you." Liam looked straight into my eyes, his capitalist logic beginning to operate. $50 million might sound like a lot, but what if there's inflation? If you buy a villa in the Southlands, do you plan to sweep the yard, cook, do laundry, or go hunt for cockroaches yourself every time it rains? Just the phrase "hunt for cockroaches" sent immediate, horrifying goosebumps all over my skin. Liam saw my expression, and the corners of his lips curved up in satisfaction. He continued to bait me. The old contract is outdated. I propose we sign a new one. A lifetime contract. A lifetime contract? My eyes widened. That's right. Stay in the capital and continue as Mrs. Blackwood. He raised a hand and began to list the exploitative terms. No, benefits. First, an unlimited black card. You can buy as many houses as you want to prop up your bed. He paused, a flicker of amusement in his eyes. Second, a 3-star Michelin chef at your service 24/7. You'll never have to eat takeout again. He paused again, his eyes becoming incredibly tender, utterly doting. Third, you won't need to socialize, nor manage any family affairs. If anyone dares to disturb your sleep, I will personally take care of them. All you have to do is stay at the Blackwood Mansion and be the laziest salted fish in the world. Hearing this, my brain immediately activated its quantum supercomputer. Cost-benefit analysis initiated. Option A, divorce, take $50 million, go back to the countryside, clean my own house, order my own food. If there's a burglar, I have to fight them myself. Face the risk of roaches flying into my face. Suffering. Burning calories. Option B, don't divorce. Number $50 million, but an unlimited black card. Food brought right to my mouth, sleep until whatever hour I want. A handsome, model-esque husband as a 24/7 bodyguard and roach slapper. Relaxed. Not a single calorie wasted. This deal was beyond profitable. Liam watched the shifting expressions on my face, waiting patiently. He knew that appealing to my inherent laziness was the only way to keep me. I looked deep into his eyes. In those deep, dark pools, I saw seriousness, a rare flicker of nervousness from a business emperor, and an unconditional, encompassing love that had blossomed without my ever noticing. He didn't need me to be diligent, nor to be exceptionally brilliant. He just needed me to be myself, a lazy, careless, unconcerned Olivia, yet the only peaceful haven in his life full of schemes and plots. I cleared my throat, trying to suppress the corners of my mouth that wanted to curl up to my ears. Ahem, your conditions aren't bad, I suppose. I feigned reluctance, poking a finger into his solid chest. But a verbal agreement has no legal standing. It needs to be in black and white. Liam let out a sigh of relief, his eyes brightening like twinkling stars. Of course. I'll call Assistant Stone right away. He's always on standby 24/7 to draft contracts for you. And one more thing, I yawned, stretching both arms to wrap around Liam's neck, clinging to him like a lazy koala. My legs are tired from arguing with you all evening. I'm too lazy to climb the stairs now. Mr. Blackwood, carry me upstairs. Liam Blackwood burst into a radiant laugh, a smile that shattered all the icy coldness of the Blackwood air, warm and brilliant like the morning sun. He easily slid his arms under my legs, lifting me into a supremely steady Princess Carrie. He lowered his head and brushed a light kiss on my lips, his voice laced with an indulgence that thrilled me to my bones. As you wish, Mrs. Blackwood. For this entire life, I willingly volunteer to be your sedan bearer. Looking at the tiny, forgotten suitcase abandoned in the corner of the room, I silently thought my dream of a lazy life in the Southlands was well and truly shattered. But in its place, the golden age of Olivia, the salted fish, being spoiled to the heavens and reigning supreme in the Blackwood Empire, had officially begun.